The second series of the Next Generation has many gems, such as Where Silence Has Lease, at least in my opinion, Time Squared, Measure of a Man, a top 10 if not a top 5 episode, Q Who, and Contagion. One fun episode is Peak Performance, which introduced us to the third constellation starship to appear in Star Trek, the curiously named USS Hathaway. But the Hathaway presents us with a bit of a riddle. In this video, we will briefly consider the trope of the derelict spacecraft, then appreciate the Constellation class as a design, before outlining the riddle that the Hathaway presents us with, and how we might solve that riddle in-universe. And if you like this video, then why not press the like button and subscribe to this channel. If you don't like this video, then why not press the dislike button and subscribe to the channel anyway. From 2010 to Event Horizon, the trope of the derelict spacecraft has been excellent fodder for suspense. It is the science fiction equivalent of a shipwreck or a haunted house. Its very existence is full of mystery, whilst at the same time it also subverts the classical tradition of the ship as a symbol of safety and strength, in opposition to the ever-present threats of the voyage. Roland Barthes wrote in his mythologies, specifically his The Nautilus and the Drunken Boat, about how the Nautilus of Jules Verne is a perfect cubbyhole, a world within a world, full of comfort, a library, a saloon, familiar furniture. This is true of the Enterprise, which is a womb-like space surrounded by an infinite space, and from inside, our heroes, and us, can gaze out at the cosmic abyss and travel through it inside a miniature Earth. The derelict spacecraft, however, is cold and dark, and not a comfortable cubbyhole. Like a shipwreck on the seafloor, it has been invaded by the comfortlessness out there. In the episode Peak Performance, the Hathaway exists between these extremes. She has been deliberately stripped and towed to the Braslota star system in preparation for a tactical exercise known as Operation Lovely Angel. She remains a part of our world, in a way that the Stargazer, when introduced, has not. The latter ship was abandoned and has been turned into a weapon against humans by an alien. See the first series episode, The Battle. The Enterprise D finds the Hathaway alone, but not really abandoned. She has minimal power, but lacks antimatter fuel. The Hathaway is not lost to us, but awaits reactivation. There is little by way of mystery here, so far at least. Now that we have scared off at least half the audience with the threat of philosophy, let's move on to Starship Appreciation. The first Constellation-class ship seen in Star Trek was Picard's Old Command. Famously, the Stargazer was to be a Constitution class in order to make use of the Enterprise filming model, but then it was decided to build a new model, the class name of which would be close to the word Constitution. 4 warp nacelles, a pair of impulse engines, and a few bits and pieces added to the underside of the thick saucer threatens to make the design look distinctly unlovely. It has the air of a warship, and in Star Trek, warships, as opposed to ships of exploration, tend to lean away from elegance. Given the soul of Star Trek, this should not be a surprise. It's Star Trek, not Star Wars. Personally, I rather like the Constellations. They have a more practical, no-nonsense appearance compared to, say, the Constitution II class. They are bigger than the Constitutions and bulkier, with presumably a larger crew. The Hathaway herself is said to have Avidyne impulse engines, and the ship was built by Yo-Yo-Dyne Propulsion Systems at the Copernicus shipyards on Luna, which presumably is a long way from Braslota 2, but I suppose no matter where you go, there you are. The Hathaway model was merely the Stargazer model relabeled and would appear in the episode Redemption Part 2 as part of a blockading fleet. That episode marks the final appearance of the Constellation class, barring a computer display of the constants in the third series of Star Trek Picard. The Hathaway Bridge was a redress of the Enterprise D's Battle Bridge, and would later be redressed again as the bridge of the Enterprise C. As I have said, the Hathaway presents us with a riddle. Which was first, the Constellation or the Hathaway? This should be a straightforward question to answer. The Hathaway was a Constellation-class starship. Ergo, the Constellation, the class leader, was first. But it might not be as simple as that. In what was undoubtedly a continuity mistake, in Star Trek VI The Undiscovered Country, we glimpsed the Starship Mission Assignments display, appearing at both the Master Situation and the communication stations on the bridge of the Enterprise A. Alongside a number of familiar names, such as the Excelsior, the Endeavour, the Republic and the ill-fated Lantry, we find the Constellation, with an NX hull registry and a note that she is undergoing certification tests. The Starship Mission Assignments display throws a bit of a spanner into the works. The Undiscovered Country takes place in 2293. The Hathaway, meanwhile, is said to have been launched in 2285, 80 years before the events of peak performance. The Hathaway is therefore 8 years older than the Constellation. How do we square this circle in universe? Well, here is one possible solution. Let's take it as a given that the Constellation was launched before the Hathaway, so before 2285. The class leader would have been developed at the same time as the Great Experiment, the Excelsior, with her trans-warp drive. The Constellation's design suggests an attempt to move beyond the classic two-nacelle template. But what if we make the Constellation a part of the trans-warp experiment? In our solution, the Constellation is built as a Phase 1 trans-warp prototype to test the space frame before a Phase 2 prototype, the Excelsior, is developed and found to have a more suitable space frame. The constellations which come after, including the Hathaway, are given conventional warp nacelles, whilst the Constellation has her trans-warp engines removed. She is then relaunched in 2293 with conventional engines, but retains her NX hull registry at this time because she is still considered a prototype. This then is my in-universe solution to the riddle of the Hathaway. You may well have a better one, and if so, please feel free to comment. For now though, I hope you liked this video, or at least didn't hate it.